and empowered to thrive. Are there any additional items for the agenda? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
All motion.
Motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Monica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Gotta count. Recognition of visitors and open forum. We have a few teachers here and Michael Roy from the paper, so welcome. Any positive recognition? I can safely say I have none.
Boys cross country won the conference
Awesome.
last week. Tegan Mulder was all conference. Brennan Welvert was honorable mention all conference. And then the girls, I didn't hear what place they took. However, we did have Nora Welvert that was all conference. Emma Hilschnitz was honorable mention all conference. And Quinn Krause was honorable mention all conference.
Wonderful. Anybody else have anything? Okay, so we will move on to reports and presentations, the superintendent report.
A lot going on, beginning of the school year and everything, so we've had a good start with our reading curriculum in the elementary. Now we're starting to look at math curriculum in the future. So Mr. Adams and Heather Moore, one of our fourth grade teachers, are gonna go spend some time over at South Central Service Co-op, meeting with some math curriculum vendors and learning about those the curriculums that they have. Letters seems to be going much smoother this year. It's being ran by Steph Watts and Liz Winters, and we're just kind of cruising right through it. We're going to finish our first unit this week, which will be great. In the elementary, there's always a continued focus on patience, kindness, and students caring as top priorities, which is a great thing. And I was with Mr. Adams today when he was in a kindergarten classroom, and they tell him that every day, that their job is to be kind to others and be nice to others and make others feel good. So that's a great message for all of our students. We had fire prevention last week. Nope, 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry. Thanks to the Janesville Fire Department for all the work that they do. They come into the building and do fire prevention for our preschool through third grade students. And then both elementary and high school are starting observations this week on the teachers. And teachers have anywhere from 1 to 3 observations. Both in the elementary and high school, we're doing a lot of work with MTSS, so Minnesota Tier Systems of Support, and we're doing a lot of work with South Central Service Cooperative for the grant that we're working on also, or that we're working with also. On November 7th, Representative Allen is going to be in our building. He'll be here all day as a principal for the day. So he's going to come in and shadow the principals. He's going to be in a couple high school classrooms, and they're going to have questions and different things for him. So that'll be good. They're also they're working. Mr. Frank and Mr. Rysdam are working on getting another representative in on a different day, possibly. Then we had some successful coordination between Mr. Frank and law enforcement to go through due process and the Miranda with our students. So Mark Vanderwilt from Janesville Janesville Police Department came in and helped with those lectures, so the students could hear real life situations. So that was great. As far as activities going on, the regular seasons have come to an end. Tonight we have volleyball at 7 o'clock in St. Clair. If we win, we would play Thursday. Tomorrow night, we host Blooming Prairie for our first round of football playoffs. If we win, we would play Saturday at Maple River. Cross-country sections are Thursday at Norwood Young America. The musical is in 2.5 weeks from right now. That's going well. I've been hearing them sing some of their parts, and I'm very excited for that. We have to submit a report to MDE each year about our activities. Nikki just finished submitting that report. And overall, we have 9 through 12, we have 46% females participating. 44% are participating in sports only. Males, we have 53%, and then 55% of males participating in sports only. So when it comes to dollars and they're looking at Title IX, our dollars are very close between boys and girls programs also, which is a great thing. Wendy will talk about some stuff in a little bit, but audit work is getting finished up. Budget does look grim. I'm going to be honest with everybody about that, with lower enrollment, and enrollment is down statewide. And we're really seeing it here at JWP. So we'll talk about that, or she'll talk about that in a little bit. Community ed, Pathways is off and going. Those are some grant money that we get to help cover costs for some families. We have been notified that we're parent aware certified again for the next 2 years. And we are seeing an increase in Kids Corner numbers to serve, so we don't have students on wait lists and everything, which is great. Buildings and grounds, busy. Changing out filters. They've had to adjust the sneeze guards in the kitchen for a few different things. We have to replace some sprinkler heads in the boys' locker room. That will happen in the next week or so. And then during MEA, they got a good deep clean in the classrooms, and then also the stage set up for the musical. Our switches and access points are here, so Adam's working on getting the switches put in. All of the access points will have to go in at one time. So looking at either Thanksgiving or more likely Christmas break, that they'll all get put in. He did write a grant, or Annika and him wrote a grant for more building security through the Department of Justice. But with the federal government shutdown, the grant has been placed on furlong. So we'll wait to hear when that's going to reopen. He's working on finding some buyback places for our old Chromebooks. HR, there's a number of grants that Annika's working on writing right now. She's got the STAR report submitted for us. Compensatory and 0 to age 4 census report is complete, just waiting for the state to open that up. Special education seems to be going well. Looking at caseload numbers, the 504 process continues to be a struggle, but they're working through that and have went to a training on that recently. Some things that I've been working on. In November, we're going to have student school board representatives starting. There'll be 6 of them. 3 juniors and 3 sophomores. I'm going to meet with them this week with a schedule. Looking at different revenue possibilities, working through teacher negotiations, as you know. Learning about Southwest Metro purchasing the Morristown building. They're actually going to be meeting with the superintendents, business managers, and our financial advisors through Ellers in the next week or two to make sure everything is, everybody has the same understanding. So then Thursday, I had a webinar with the National Weather Service. They're talking about a La Nina winter. So it's possible it could be colder than average and either at or above average for precipitation. And then one other thing that's happening in the high school in a few weeks is Jason Lennox is a mental health, drug addiction speaker. He's going to be coming here and doing a talk with our 9 through 12 students.
Busy, busy.
It is, but it's a good busy.
Any questions?
Any reason not to offer the Chromebooks for sale, to people in our district? Students that want to have an extra one at home for some reason, or that they don't have a device. I mean, I know that they still need internet, obviously, or
Right.
some connection, but
The students we left it open to families that wanted to have one,
mhm.
where they could just check one out for the
Yep.
full year. So I think all of the families that wanted one have one at this point,
Okay,
so.
no problem.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. On to budget information and the treasurer's report.
So this month we'll take a look at our cash balances, continuing to follow the trend that we've seen, but it's dipping down lower. The blue line is our current year, so, we just gotta try to get that back up a little higher to stay with our policy or our goal, I guess, of a 25% fund balance, which we're, have not maintained this year. So we've got to work on that, get our budget balance better to cut some expenditures and see if we can get some more revenue to get that blue line up a little higher for our cash on hand. Part of the issue is, if you scroll down to the next, is our estimated student counts for 25-26. You'll see in this chart, I put the estimated ADM, that's still not 100% final from MDE, as to how many students we are able to count for 24-25, but that total is 602.16 right now. If you look at the chart on the bottom, you can see how that is quite a bit less than we've seen in the last 5 years. So that decrease in enrollment is really cutting into our revenue as we go forward. And looking at 25-26, the MARS stands for the Minnesota Automated Reporting Student System. It's basically MDE's giant database of all the students in public schools. And so every so often we submit information, our data, to that, and they do this big edit. And so the last one was done on September 18th. And so that's kind of where we're sitting right now. As of September 18th, our official numbers that we've submitted to the state. So the enrolled column is like the actual students that are on our list. And then the estimated MARS ADM, of course, if you remember when we talked about our ADM, is how much of a student we get to count, how often we're instructing them when they're here during the day. So that number's a little bit lower. They don't count the early childhood special education right now because they're all based on service hours. And so we'll get that number kind of as service hours are reported for the special education services that they receive. So right now, we just, as of September 18th, the third week of school, we just didn't have significant enough service hours to count anything in MARS for that. But we'll see that number go up throughout the course of the year. And then the APU is the adjusted pupil unit. And that's just kind of, once we take our ADM, we can prorate some number. We get one unit per ADM for kindergarten through 6. And 1.2 units for 7 through 12. And so that number is used for some calculations too for revenue. So at the very bottom of that chart, I have our preliminary budget that we approved in June. Is conservative, a little lower than what we might see, but we're not seeing PSEO numbers come out of that ADM yet. But we also don't have ECSE in there. So I expect that number to be higher as it gets official, and we'll kind of get adjusted revenues back in, but we don't want to count on some money that we might not have, so. So that's kind of where student counts are at from last year and this year. Any questions on any of those numbers right now? And then just as a point of interest, on the next slide is just some demographics and student statistics. The first chart is showing our residents who are served outside of our public school. They might be at a different public school. The bottom two rows are the non-public and homeschool students of our residents. The second table is the students we serve from other districts who are residents of other districts. So you can see we're not bringing in as many as are going elsewhere, but just a point of interest, I guess. And then our demographics from 24 to 25, how many males and females we have, our ethnic and racial makeup, our free and reduced lunch demographic, and our special ed services students. And then some, every now and again, we have students experiencing homelessness, so that's all kind of captured. A point about homelessness, it's, you know, a lot of people think it's just like, oh, you're sleeping in your car or you're sleeping under your bridge, but really it's not stable housing. They might be staying at a hotel. They might be doubling up with grandparents or couch surfing or things like that, or maybe a high school student who's living at a friend's house. You know, they don't feel like they're homeless, but they don't have a permanent residence. So that's kind of that number. You know, we have students like that in our building, and we have services for them. So if you hear of anybody, you know, in a situation like that, reach out to the social workers, and we can always, we have services and funding to help them out if we come across situations like that and families that could use that support. Any questions on these kind of statistics from last year?
All right, we will move on to the committee reports. Certified negotiations.
We're still
Ongoing.
ongoing.
We have a
Next
meeting
is
tomorrow night,
Tomorrow night.
but ongoing.
Okay. All right, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled out of the consent agenda? Okay, then do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll motion.
Motion by Dave Olson, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. The old business, the approving of the overdose medication. Where we had left it last time was whether or not the opioid antagonist was gonna go be on field trips and stuff like that, and then,
Right, I talked to Laura, and she has no issue with the allowing the students in grades 9 through 12 to possess it and administer it, the opiate antagonist, to another high school student. That has been a hot topic in the news lately. I think it was Edina School District that was in the news about it. However, we're not providing it for them. This is if they're going out purchasing it themselves, and you can purchase it at almost any pharmacy. And they carry it, they can give the antagonist. It does not have any negative effects on the student if they give it and don't need it. So Laura didn't feel that it was a big deal if they choose to carry it themselves. We do keep it on hand here at school in a number of different locations within our building and also down at the athletic complex.
But if a little kid got a hold of it, it wouldn't hurt?
Nope.
Okay.
The question that we talked about last board meeting was are we gonna be sending this on field trips, in buses, or have it in buses and everything else? Laura, when talking to her, we didn't feel it was necessary for that. So she would like to just keep it, that it was stored, that we're gonna, have the Narcan or the Narsnox stored within the school building, or at least on our site.
But
And-
kids are not prohibited from carrying it with them on a field trip if they so choose.
Nope. Just that our staff won't be carrying it on the field trip.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
The buses, that would be up to them to do, to carry that if they want it, right? 'Cause that's not
Because
us.
that's contracted with
Yeah,
them.
okay.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, and then do I have a motion to approve policy 516.5 overdose medication?
So moved.
Motion by Monica Erickson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. On to new business.
We have a contract through MVED. It's Minnesota Valley Education District. It's actually out of St. Peter, and that's where our deaf and hard of hearing teacher comes from. The other special education places and services we provide don't provide that. Therefore, that's why we get it from Minnesota Valley Education District. They're here about an hour and a half a week, so 4% of an FTE. It costs the district right around $4,500.
Do you happen to know how many students we have that use that service?
I know of one for sure off the top of my head.
Okay. Is that special ed reimbursable, the amount?
Yes.
Cool.
Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the MVED contracted services agreement?
No motion.
Motion by Dave Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Next is to approve Jonathan Dashner as the junior high boys basketball coach. Any questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Bourne. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson. Is there any further discussion? And I will abstain from voting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries it'd be
501.
5-0-1. There we go. And then to approve Emily Olson as the assistant girls basketball coach.
So moved.
Motion by Kevin Bourne. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson. Is there any further discussion? Okay,
I'll abstain.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0-1. Our upcoming meetings, November 3rd is a study session, followed by the Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness meeting. November 17th is a regular meeting. December 1st is a study session. And then in the middle of that is the Truth and Taxation meeting. December 15th is a regular meeting. And then Monday, January 5th is going to be the organizational meeting and study session. So with that, we will adjourn at 5:54.